Hey, we're back to Calderis Refinery for once in a 1v1 cast. I feel like it's been a hell of a long time since I've cast this map. Everything seems to be Calderis Desert, Calderis Jungle these days. But what can you do? We're back to the refinery. Old school style. Speaking of old school style, it's a bit of an old school matchup. We've got Omegon playing as the apothecary here, and he's going to be facing the Chaos Lord of Simple. We'll see how simple Mr. Simple is here. Seems I don't know, seems Omegon is a bit more simple today. You try to speak to him and he just retorts, "Shut up!" Seems like Omegon should be playing as the Chaos Lord, but there you go. Okay, so apparently Omegon's on a bit of a loss streak. I'm not too surprised because he is choosing to not go for a second scout squad, which is pretty questionable as the apothecary because you've arguably got the weakest opening start of all of the Space Marine heroes. But this is nice to find some heretics to fight with your Apo early on, hopefully get some free XP, get those bolt shots in. Come on, bolt pistol, get that, kill that guy. Come on, bolt pistol. Oh, he turned away. I think one more shot would have actually killed that. Would have been a nice bit of XP, but yeah, he's gonna cede so much map control here. Honestly, at this point, he could just force melee with attacks with the Apo there. The heretic's been so weak. Okay, shit, he's got shotguns coming in. This is zero concern for him then. Even without the shotguns, he could have forced melee because then these guys aren't. They're not gonna output the DPS. You just heal it off with your Apo and then just beat them up in melee. The heretics were too low. A nice flank here though from the Chaos Lord. Apothecary being fed quite a lot of XP here, lets him kill a second CSM, which is a bit strange. Simple should just be retreating that a long time ago, and these heretics have got no business going anywhere near this apothecary now. So Omegon has realised he is getting a lot of work done with his apothecary, and he wants to double down on that, so he's purchasing the Sanguine Chainsword. And you know what, this actually kind of works, because he's gone for double gens, so he can afford to get such a war gear and go straight for the Assault Space Marines afterwards. Just needs to make sure he doesn't bleed or build any more gens, and he'll actually have a decent ASM timing. Now he goes for another scout squad. Okay, this is stupid. This makes zero sense. This is simple. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know why he thinks that would be optimal in any way, but it's grossly suboptimal. Why? Why get the scout now? You've lost all this map control because you had nothing to contest this shitty little 200 requisition basic heretic squad. So you wait to get the scout now after losing all this map control. Okay, so you get your gens faster, but does it actually improve your economy? No, because you've lost this point, this point, this point, and worse. You lost this engagement here, which maybe it could have done better if you had the CL run over this way because he had to support the heretics or something. You risk losing your entire gen farm because you're opening with 2 units versus the enemy's 3 and you're building gens at the start. Imagine if the enemy opened with 3 units and chose not to build gens at the start. Then right now, by the time your second scout squad comes out, Simple will be having Raptors coming out, and so he could easily do a timing push with Raptors and take out now your fully upgraded gen farm, regardless of the fact that you have Devastators out. In fact, at this point, Simple might be getting Noise Marines in addition to his Raptors. So this is the problem with going for such a build. I think the build is unoptimal anyway. I would definitely be going for 2 scouts on a map like Calderis Refinery at the opening, but if you want to do it and you drop the 2 gens at the start, then you get a war gear and you get a shotgun, then you can go straight into Assault Space Marines and then proceed to get your 3rd and final gen. And I think that could have served Omegon quite well. As it stands though, his opponent himself is doing a rather unoptimal build. His choice to go for 2 CSM and then to give them Eternal War is proving to be relatively ineffective at dealing with this Sanguine Chainsword apothecary. The beauty of the Sanguine Chainsword is that not only does it give you a heal on hit both with the pistol and the chainsaw strikes, but as you can see, it increases his melee charge range, so he is so sticky with it. He's very hard to outrun. But, you know, there are options for Chaos, and the options are not purchasing extra CSM with Eternal War. The options are generally getting a Havoc. You have Cacophony to do on-demand knockback and stop him being in melee, because of course he's healing when he's in melee with the chainsword. And then he also is getting range damage resistance from being in melee, so he's going to take very little effective DPS when in melee with that Sanguine Chainsword. So the 2 CSM with Eternal War here with no CC options for the Apothecary is a really poor choice. I must point out as well that it's quite unconventional to go for a Devastator squad as the Apothecary. There are such innate synergies with the ASM with the Apothecary, it's insane. You know, because they're the ones who lead the engagements, they're the ones who go in the deepest and take the most damage right from the offset. So having the ability to come up from behind them after they have cleared the way and heal them back to full often means that you can engage in some crazy situations with your ASM as the APO and not even lose a model where Tech Marine or Force Commander ASM would. And then you've got the Purification Rites in addition to that, which makes them incredibly hard to counter even with melee, which is meant to be the supposed counter of ASM, because they jump in and then they get not only a heal but on-demand spike damage to the enemies that are meleeing them and knockback, and then they can jump out with full HP. Yeah, there's a lot of synergies. What are the synergies for the APO and Devastators? Well, he gets combat stimulants in tier 2, which is useful, but there's a lot less synergies here, so it's a little bit odd. Now, Simple is finding himself struggling to deal with this Devastator, which, I don't know, he could have gone for a Grenade Launcher Heretic squad over here, this default Heretic. He doesn't have an AC on it. It would have been a relatively cheap investment, certainly a lot cheaper than the Raptors. But he has chosen to go for Raptors instead here, which means he's now going to be having an extremely long tier 2. Now, Omegon, on the other hand, has tech to tier 2, and when he sees these Raptors, he should be aware of how far ahead he is in tech, even if he isn't yet aware, hence why he's not getting a Razorback. It doesn't matter, he's getting a Razorback anyway. But any hesitations or doubts he had about his tech situation is going to be alleviated once he sees these Raptors. Mispositioning here could have easily killed those scouts if he had the Raptors in the correct place and the CSM. Oh, I just realised, yes, Simple is really not even building any gens. This is rather odd. God, this is a sloppy start days, boys. I love the eternal pessimism of noobs. Isn't it brilliant? I feel bad for whoever. I'm concerned now that whoever sent this in is neither of these players, and now I'm just shitting on these players without any of their consent. Ah well, that's what happens when you play Dawn of War 2. Welcome to it, boys. Welcome to Dawn of War 2, gentlemen. Welcome to Dawn of War 2. I hope you're having fun. It seems that Omegon's having a lot of fun with the game. Look, if you start to develop that personality and attitude because you're losing for 4 hours in a row, I would suggest you take a break from the game and come back at a later time with a bit of a fresh mindset, because it gets to a point where you're not actually learning anything. It's like been so, like, you've had no sleep for some reason. I don't know, maybe you've got some Czech lesbian gypsies living next door and they're playing like crazy loud music, and you've been on a night shift and you've got no sleep, and then you go to the gym and you can't lift many weights because you're just exhausted, so your reps that you're doing are way under your normal average, and in fact, actually, really, you're just risking injury. So you do like half of your normal weights and you do 75% of your normal reps. At that point, you're not gaining anything. Actually, you're risking injury. You should just call it quits. Go home, sleep it off, take it on the chin, remember if it was caused from a night out, the negative effects, and tell yourself, I'm not going to fucking drink like that again. I'm going to take one less bump of ketamine on the night out. And try again another day. That's what I feel like Omegon should be doing here, but... Yeah, he got this Razorback, and now he's sort of lollygagging around in the middle for some reason without pressuring, even though he knows he is tremendously far ahead in tech because he's seen that Raptor come out. He's seen the colossal amount of power investment that Simple has put into his tier 1, and not only that, he's also seen that Simple only built one generator for some reason. But now he's pushing against the natural farm. He should really be taking out that generator farm there of Simple and actually probably using the Razorback to cap it. But he took far too long to do that, so somehow Simple has managed to catch up and is now himself in tier 2. Omegon is getting a Librarian, which I don't dislike given that he has Devastators. We'll have to see what Simple's plan is here to deal with this. He obviously doesn't have any Havocs and he doesn't have any Noise Marines, so his transitional AV potential is really difficult. It's very limited. It's very limited. Yeah. So he has the option of going for Plague Marines in tier 2 with a missile launcher. He has the option of... Okay, who the fuck sent this replay in, bruh? I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope some of the monologues have been educational. You enjoy my analogies, because I can't even commentate this shit. What the fuck's going on? My man's too busy smiling, doing the Roos little parentheses, fucking Simple smile, whilst his Chaos Lord is nearly getting wiped by the goddamn Razorback and the Tactical Space Marines. Now my man is just sending naked heretics down into the middle of the map, not realising what is going on. But he's looking at the screen because he has the fucking Raptors jumping in. Does he not want the heretics? Is he too busy typing? I don't understand what's going on. I think the whole tired after a night out gym analogy stands really strong right now. The craziest thing is Simple has never built more than one gen all this game, but yet he's getting a Chaos Dreadnought out right now. So maybe Omegon's right. He is facing a retard here, but if you're losing to the retard, I mean, he's behind on VPs, perhaps you are something worse than a retard. Please tell me down in the comments below, guys, what is worse than a retard? He just cancelled the Dreadnought that was nearly built and he's going for Bloodletters. Does he normally play retail? Does he think the Bloodletters have heavy melee and can kill a Razorback? That's a little bit odd. And the Tactical Marines have picked up a missile launcher to destroy the one generator. Because there's no vehicles on the field right now. So why else do you pick up a missile launcher on the Tactical Space Marines? I don't... Simple is now calling him a dog. Interesting. Oh, this is bizarre, guys. I don't even know what to say. This is absolutely exhausting mentally. Of course we have double Zeech Marines. Of course we do. Of fucking course we do. God, noobs love double Zeech Marines, man. Because it's easy, right? They do absurd amounts of damage to infantry and you just move them around. They even do little bits of vehicles with the plasma. Always expect to see the double Zeech Space Marines. Now, if Omegon drops range Terminators here and gets them absolutely wrecked by the double fully upgraded CSM plus the Chaos Lord, I'm gonna be apathetic. I'm going to be apathetic. Because it's just stupid, but it's what this game so far has brought me to expect.
One of our generators is under attack.
Okay, he's going for a Land Raider Redeemer. So I guess he is trying to humiliate and shame his opponent. Now, don't get me wrong, it's certainly a better choice than going for Terminators right now. It's actually a pretty damn good choice, actually, all things considered. But really, it's a little bit humiliating to be stuck in Tier 2, having only purchased a Plague Moon, which is a relatively cheap purchase in terms of power, and your opponent's going for a super unit. But, you know, generally that's because Simple doesn't build any generators. He built one gen at the start of the game, and he is yet to build any more gens, so a little bit of an unconventional playstyle there from Simple. Maybe he's on some sort of power rationing. Perhaps he's in Gaza. It really is useless. What's the, what's that? That's useless exactly. We got the Razorback that was just stood there unsupported in the middle of the blob of Zinch Care Space Marines. This is interesting. Destoffel, I'm concerned that you're spending time around these folk. It can't be good for your mental health. Destoffel sent this game. Oh my god! Destoffel, I do not approve of you sending this in. This is no one. I mean, it might be amusing, but this is dangerous, guys, for my sanity. I don't know how many Dawn of War 2 games I can cast if this is the kind of shit that gets sent in. Like, there's a limit. What is he doing? Why did he not retreat the Librarian? Ah, fuck me. Just go base rape him, please.
300 points remaining.
I'm just cracking my jaw. Well, beautiful scout plays there from Omegon, decapping the natural VP there of Simple before being routed by the Raptors, which was not very effective because they just retreated to the Land Raider Redeemer and now can rotate to the west to start capping that part of the map. What we're looking at on the east side, we're looking at some AC ticks capping the point there. Now, Simple purchased another Havoc. That's going to be a mark of Zinch Havoc. So we've got, in terms of AV, a las cannon and a missile launcher on the Plague Marines. Let's see what it can do. Las cannon's getting shots. Oh, the Redeemer is making a terrible decision here, driving down this way instead of pulling back. Taking so many shots, and he concedes. Okay, guys, let this be a lesson in productivity in life. I don't know what you've accomplished in your life so far. I don't know how old you are. You're probably older than me. I'm 28. I'm not so old, and I haven't achieved much. But if you have been playing a video game for 5 hours in multiplayer versus other people, and this is how you are presenting, and you're getting tilted, just put the video game down. This is why single player video games exist. You know, girls often get mocked, or even people don't even believe that women play video games. They do. But you don't encounter them that often because guess what they're not playing? They don't play multiplayer. They don't play RTS because it's too competitive and they're not interested in that. They play Pokemon single player and they drive around in circles hatching eggs and collecting all the Pokemon. They play Jurassic World and they build like a theme park and get loads of people to visit, or they play Sims and make a family. Well, you know what? All these things, they enable you to achieve growth in the video game in a non-competitive way that's calming and therapeutic. And sometimes as a male, you need that. Well, you know what we do? Instead of playing City Builders, it's called a single-player RPG. It's called a turn-based game. Have you ever heard of Total War? Have you ever considered playing a Paradox game? Put the multiplayer game down. Go play some single player. Go read a book. Go to the gym. Go for a walk. Have a bath. Do something else. It's going to be all from your boy Torpid this time. Everyone thanked Stoffel for sending that one in. I am going to be signing out.